Okay, good morning, children. We are discussing about chemical coordination. Chemical coordination. Okay, children. In chemical coordination in animals, we are discussing. Okay, in that up to yesterday, definition of hormones we discussed. Okay, so today what we are going to discuss is characteristics of hormones. The characteristic features. Characteristic features. This point you should have to remember. Characteristic features. Number one, the most important one, hormones. Characteristic features. Okay, hormone characteristic features. We are discussing. Number one, they are first synthesized by. Hormones are synthesized by which one? Endocrine glands. Synthesized by which one? Endocrine glands. Point you should have to remember. The second one, what is that one? Okay, they are produced at the place other than the site of action. They produced they produced at a place they produced at a place other than the what is called other than site of action. Other than site of action. This point you should have to remember. They travel okay, they travel through blood. They travel through the blood. Okay, they travel through the blood to other parts, to other parts where they cause changes. Where they cause changes. Okay, children, this point you should have to remember. Next important one, they are secreted directly into the bloodstream. They are secreted. Okay, they are secreted directly into bloodstream. Okay, children. The next point, what we have to discuss is they act on what you called? They act on a specific, very important. They act on a specific tissue or organs. They act on specific tissue or organs. Okay, children. The next important one, okay, that respond to the hormones are called. Those organs are called what you called target organs. This point you should have to remember. Next, they are secreted respond to changes in the external or the internal environment of the body. What will happen? Secreted, which one? The hormones secreted in response to changes in the external or what you call external or in the internal environment of the body. The internal environment of body. Okay, this point you should have to remember. External or the internal environment of the body, and are also called what do you call? Chemical messengers. Hormones are also called chemical messengers. Okay, next important one, they may be stimulate. Okay, this point you should have to remember. They may be stimulate. Okay, they may be stimulate, or another important one, inhibit the activity, inhibit the activity of, okay, inhibit the target organ of the, which one? Target organ. This point you should have to remember, target organ. Thus regulating its activity. Thus regulating its, what you called, activity. This point you should have to remember. The next important one, okay, they are even minute quantities. How much they will secrete, you know, minute quantity. Minute quantity it will be secret. Okay, next. Okay, now excess or deficiency. Excess or deficiency. What you call excess or deficiency. This point you should have to remember. Leads to excess or deficiency leads to what I said, serious consequences. Serious, okay, serious consequences. This point you should have to remember. Okay, children. Okay, now you have to observe very carefully. I'm telling about the characteristic features of hormones. Which one we are discussing? The characteristic feature of hormones. We are discussing about characteristic features of hormones. First point I am telling to you, hormones synthesized by endocrine glands. The glands which don't have the ducts. First one, hormones are synthesized by endocrine glands. Number one. Number two, they produce at a place other than site of action. They produce not a site of action. They produce at other than the site of action. Suppose in the brain it will be especially hypothalamus or pituitary gland they will produce. But where it will be go? It will go to the liver, it will go to the kidney, it will go to the stomach, like that. Produced at a place other than site of action. They travel from where? How they will travel from site of from producer place to site of action? They travel through the blood to other parts where they cause changes. This is a point you should have to remember. They are secreted directly into the bloodstream. Why they are secreted directly into the bloodstream? Because no ducts at all. They don't have any ducts. That's why the hormones are secreted directly into the bloodstream. Now the hormones act on specific tissue or organs. The hormones cannot act on all the organs or all the tissues. Where they can act, the hormones can act on specific tissues or organs. That's why those specific tissues or organs are called, what you call, target organs. Very important bit, need bit. What you call, the organs or tissues which one affecting by the hormones are called, what you call, target organs. They secreted in response. Which one? The hormones secreted in response to changes in the external or internal environment of the body. So if any changes in the internal body changes, then hormones will be secreted. That's why these are called, what you call, the hormones are called chemical messengers. Maybe stimulate or inhibit the activity of the target organ. Maybe this hormone stimulates or increases the rate of action, or inhibit, stops the activity of the target organ. Both sides it will be inhibit or stimulates the target organ functions, thus regulating its activity. So like that they will regulate the activity of target organs. So how much amount of what you call hormones will be released? Very minute, trace amount. Sometimes we are unable to calculate how much amount released. Very minute level quantity hormones will release from the endocrine glands. So the excess or deficiency of hormones, leads to what you called serious consequences. So excess or deficiency hormones leads to what? Serious consequences. So these are the major, what you called, characteristics of hormones. Okay, children. So most important characters. So excess secretion or deficiency of hormones leads to what? Serious consequences. Okay, children. Now we are going to discuss about human endocrine glands. What are the human endocrine glands? We are going to discuss in the tablet form. Okay. Human endocrine glands. We are going to discuss about human endocrine glands. Okay, children. The human endocrine glands, okay, and the secretions we are going to discuss in the chart form. Observe very carefully. Chart. Endocrine glands, and their locations. First column. Divide like that. The second column, hormones. Okay, hormones secreted. This point you have to remember. The third column, what we are going to discuss, the principal, what we call function, principal functions. What are the functions of the hormones we will be. Okay, children. So first, hypothalamus. Okay, first hypothalamus. This one you have to remember. Hypothalamus, pituitary gland. Okay, this one you should have to remember. Hypothalamus and pituitary gland. Okay, so what is that hypothalamus and pituitary gland? There will be so many hormones are there, but here I am telling some examples. Some are there. TSH, okay, and what you called the thyroid, thyroid stimulating hormone. Okay, TSH and TRH. These two are related to which one? The hypothalamus and the pituitary gland. What is TSH full form? So, thyroid stimulating hormone. Thyroid stimulating hormone. This is related to which one? The pituitary gland. Okay, pituitary. What about TRH? What is TRH? Like that, TRH means thyrotropinin releasing hormone. Okay, thyrotropinin releasing hormone. Like this, there will be releasing and inhibiting hormones are there in this particular. Where they will be helpful for the thyroid gland. They are helpful act on thyroid gland. Okay, like that you should have to remember. Now we are discuss later completely about hypothalamus and pituitary gland. Now it is the pituitary gland anterior lobe we are going to discuss. Anterior lobe of pituitary gland. Anterior lobe of pituitary. So anterior lobe of pituitary. Okay, anterior lobe of pituitary gland. So this is hypothalamus hormone. Okay, this one pituitary and hypothalamus hormone separately we will discuss. Just you have to remember. Anterior lobe of pituitary gland, it produces the 6 hormones. How many hormones? 6 hormones. Remember this one. 6 hormones. Number 1, first one is GH. What is GH? The growth hormone. What do you call? growth hormone. What is the second one? Very, very important. That is growth hormone are also called, what is another name of growth hormone? What is called? Tropic hormone. Somatotropic hormone. Growth hormone also called somatotropic hormone. Next, TSH. Thyroid. What I said? Thyroid stimulating hormone. Thyroid stimulating hormone. Next one what? Very, very important. TSH. Okay. Thyroid stimulating hormone. Then adrenocorticotropic hormone. What do you call? Tropic hormone. This point you should have to remember. Then fourth one what? Follicle stimulating hormone. Follicle stimulating, what do you call? Follicle stimulating hormone. Next, fifth one. What is the fifth one? You should have to remember. Luteinizing hormone. Luteinizing hormone. Okay, children, like this. Luteinizing hormone. This is ACTH. This is FSH. Okay, what do you call that is FSH. This is LH. What do you call LH? Okay, children. Now we are seeing what you called how many? Growth hormone, thyroid stimulating hormone, adrenocorticotropic hormone, follicle stimulating hormone, luteinizing hormone, like that will be there. Now functions, you see, I am telling about the functions. Growth hormone, where it will be the growth of the body. Growth hormone helpful for growth of the body. Okay, growth of the body. Next one. Here one problem is there. If growth hormone is excess, that leads to one problem. What do you call that problem? Gigantism. And less in the sense that is called dwarfism. What do you call? Gigantism and dwarfism problem will become. Next one, thyroid gland. What is a thyroid gland? It is growth and function of thyroid gland. Growth and function of which one? Thyroid gland. This one you should have to remember. Okay, growth and function of thyroid gland. The next one, this is the most important. Adrenocorticotropic hormone. What is adrenocorticotropic hormone? It is adrenal cortex to secrete adrenal cortex. You know, adrenal gland is there, and adrenal cortex helpful for secretion of hormones. This point you should have to remember. Next one, follicle stimulating hormone. It helpful for the spermatogenesis. Production of sperm. That is called spermatogenesis. The next one, luteinizing hormone. Okay, next one is the eggs. It is not only spermatogenesis, and what you call, they will be eggs maturation, and in the females also eggs will be mature because of this hormone, follicle stimulating hormone. Then what? Luteinizing hormone is testosterone. You know, secretion of which one? Testosterone in the males, testosterone, and estrogen in the females. Estrogen and progesterone also will be there. Okay, children, observe very carefully what we are discussing. The endocrine glands and their location we are discussing. The hormones secreted and principal function. First, hypothalamus, pituitary gland hormones. So like example I am telling, so many are there. Later one table will be there about hypothalamus and pituitary gland, but one example I am telling. Thyroid stimulating hormone, thyroid releasing hormone. Okay, thyroid stimulating hormone, thyrotropinin releasing hormone from hypothalamus, thyroid stimulating hormone from pituitary gland will be there. They will work on thyroid glands. So the pituitary gland, anterior lobe of pituitary gland releases how many hormones? 6 hormones. What are the, here I wrote 5 only due to lack of space. I wrote 5. What are those? Growth hormone. Growth hormone also called somatotropic hormone. Growth hormone effect on the, which one? Growth of the body. If growth hormone secretion is more, that is problem is called gigantism. If the growth hormone secretion is less, the problem is called dwarfism. Next, thyroid stimulating hormone, helpful for the growth and function of thyroid gland. Adrenocorticotropic hormone, ACTH, helpful for adrenal cortex to secrete hormones. Follicle stimulating hormone, helpful for sperm production of sperms and in the female's maturity of eggs. That functions are performed by follicle stimulating hormone. Luteinizing hormone, main function is helpful for secretion of testosterone, estrogen, and one more hormone is there. What is the one more hormone? What is the one more hormone? Progesterone. Okay, estrogen and progesterone hormones will be there. So how many? 6 hormones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 only. One more we will be discuss. What is that one more? We have to discuss. Okay, observe very careful, children. What is that one more hormone? The one more hormone is what you call, that is luteinizing hormone. What you call? Luteinizing hormone. Discuss luteinizing hormone. One more hormone is prolactin. Okay, what do you call? Prolactin. The 6th hormone is what? Prolactin. Okay, what is the prolactin? The prolactin function is mammary glands. Mammary glands development. What is called? Mammary glands development. They will perform. These points you should have to remember. Mammary glands development. Okay, and milk production. And what is called? Milk production is possible by the help of which one? The prolactin. Mammary glands development and milk production. These points you should have to remember. Okay, the next important we will discuss about the intermediate, what you called? The intermediate lobe of pituitary gland. What you called? Intermediate lobe of pituitary gland we will be discuss. Okay, children, observe very carefully. Intermediate lobe of pituitary. So intermediate lobe of what you called? Pituitary gland. Intermediate lobe of pituitary gland. So what is that one? It secretes the melanocyte stimulating hormone. This point you should have to remember. Melanocyte stimulating hormone. The next important one, it's a simple, what is it one? Melanin pigment. It helpful for synthesis of melanin pigment. Okay, skin color related. Okay, next one, the posterior lobe of pituitary gland. Posterior lobe of pituitary gland. What posterior lobe of pituitary gland? It secretes the two important. Number one, oxytocin. Number two, vasopressin. What is called? Oxytocin and vasopressin. What is the function of oxytocin? It is helpful for smooth muscle. What is called? It is helpful for the stimulates the contraction of smooth muscles. Stimulates the contraction of what is called? Smooth muscles. This point you should have to remember. Stimulates the contraction of smooth muscles at the time of childbirth. That is why this is also called birth hormone. Oxytocin is called birth hormone. The vasopressin is also called ADH. What is called? ADH. What is its function? Vasopressin function is it helpful for the what you called water and electrolyte water and what you called electrolyte balance. Electrolyte balance in the what you called water and body fluids. Balance in body fluids. Okay, this point you should have to remember. So vasopressin. Next one. What is the next one? Okay, once again I'm telling you, listen carefully. Intermediate lobe of pituitary gland. It secretes the intermediate lobe of pituitary gland secretes which one? Melanocyte stimulating hormone. Melanin. It will be melanin helpful for the color giving to the skin. Next, posterior lobe of pituitary. Posterior lobe of pituitary secretes the or produces two hormones. What are those? Oxytocin and vasopressin. Oxytocin helpful for the stimulates the contraction of smooth muscles at the time of childbirth. That's why it is called birth hormone. And pituitary gland, another hormone of posterior lobe of pituitary gland is vasopressin. This vasopressin is also called antidiuretic hormone, which is helpful for the water and electrolyte balance in the body fluids. Water and electrolyte balance in the body fluid. So one more hormone we will discuss, that is pineal gland. What is called pineal gland hormones will be discussed. What is pineal gland and what is the hormone secreted by pineal gland will be discussed. Okay children, observe very carefully. Pineal gland. So pineal gland, it lies where it will be. It lies between the two cerebral hemispheres of the brain. Two cerebral hemispheres of the brain. It secretes the which one? Melatonin. What is the hormone? Melatonin. What is the melatonin? Regulates the working of gonads. Regulates the working of gonads. What is the meaning of gonads? You know very well. Gonads means very important testis and ovaries. So testis and ovaries functions are regulated by the testis and gonads. So like this, what you called the pineal glands also will be there. So thanks children. Next class we will discuss with some more hormones.